I ask that you consider these words. So, as a child, I used to daydream about this often. I used to try to picture what an apple might taste like if the realm you and I are intimately a part of hadn't been polluted. I'd also like you to think about, let's say, any old grocery store. What's the ratio of genetically modified poison to health food? Do they keep them on the same rack? When they store them at night, do they keep them in the same room? Most likely it's the same fucking cooler. If they only have, let's say, two apples on the rack that are organic, allegedly organic, having a number 9 code, and a bunch of other shit, fours and what have you, in terms of produce, fruit codes, um, produce codes. Um, they're not going to have two separate coolers. They're certainly not going to have a special cooler for the organic food. So, what I want you to think about is if everything's interconnected, and when you put something in close proximity to something else, just like when you hang out next to a crackhead, do you feel good? Does something happen? Is there an exchange of energy? You could think of people talking about grounding. When you take off your fucking socks and your shoes and you touch the earth, there's an exchange of information. There's an exchange of energy. This applies to anything and everything you could possibly think of. It doesn't have to be sexual in terms of a fluid exchange. You can come near to somebody and you can feel things. This is also has to do with, you can think of like a static electric discharge, etc., etc. Just the same, if the majority of the food on that apple cart or that rack, if you will, has been sprayed with pesticides or fucking heaven knows what, that means those things contain poison. They're kept next to what's supposedly healthy. What do you think the chances are of the organic apples not taking something away from that shit? How's the expression go? One bad apple ruins the whole damn bunch. What the fuck do I know? Nobody's talking about this shit. More importantly, no one's trying to change how this shit is. We just keep on getting on. How's the expression go? I can't remember. What do I say? Complacency got us this far. People don't know a fucking thing. Everything's going to fucking hell. And it's just worse and worse and worse because you give our masters an inch and they'll take a mile. I usually joke around. You put on a mask. And then what? Anybody? Anybody? I've said it before, but maybe you guys weren't paying attention. If our masters ask you to put on a mask, how many kids out there squeal? How many? Keep in mind that's joyful glee. They're excited to fall into lockstep and fuck everything up for you and I alike. And that's why we have genetically modified poison. It's the same situation. I was riding a bus today. I was looking around. There were a lot of wet farts. I'm talking about kids with masks on for whatever fucking reason. Stupidity. That's the reason. Um, and I was thinking about prior to 2020. You and I were surrounded by stupid people back then, but they didn't wear this badge of shame everywhere they went. So it wasn't as obvious unless you engaged with them. Some people you could tell. Some people you could just fucking tell. And again, mannerisms, actions, etc., etc. But now it's plain as fucking day and it's been normalized here in the States. I mean, most businesses I go to, a good majority, just like those, genetically modified apples, outnumber the people who are fucking thinking for themselves. I'm talking about small businesses. Some of the bigger ones, you do have more people not doing it, but there's still other people on staff who are wearing them. It's fucking terrifying. Things are bad. They're getting worse. They're not going to get any better unless people pull their heads out of their ass. If you sat through this, what the fuck do I know?